Greetings to everyone out there in the NoDQ galaxy. Welcome to NoDQ's recap of WWE Smackdown Live for April 9th, 2019. Finally, WrestleMania weekend has wrapped up. This is the 5th straight day of streaming for me. It is quite exhausting, and there is more to come. Even though I will be taking a break for a few days, there will be more live streams coming up, so stay tuned for that. I'll have more details shortly. Let's go ahead and recap this week's SmackDown Live, which was, in fact, in Brooklyn, New York, for I think the, what was it? 5th straight night, because you had NXT, you had the Hall of Fame, and then you had WrestleMania, and then you had Raw, and then you had SmackDown. So 5 nights, 5 live streams, a lot of WWE content to digest. And that's if you're just watching WWE. If you're a fan of the Indies, you had all the other stuff that was going on, including the New Japan and Ring of Honor show. SmackDown kicked off with the New Day coming out for their championship celebration. The crowd was chanting Kofi along to his music. The ring was decorated, and really that was the only different thing from Monday's segment with the New Day. Pretty much the same exact promo. The crowd was chanting, "You deserve it." Big E talked about how Kofi Kingston is in fact an A+ player with credit. The crowd started chanting A+. Then we had Big E once again do the Big E split, which we saw on Raw, and the crowd was like, "One more time." So Big E did it one more time, and the crowd popped huge. Big E has been doing his DDP yoga. That's all I can say. Big E talked about how there was nothing like being home on the blue brand. Kofi then talked about his championship victory at WrestleMania. And no, chat site forums, I will not be doing the split. I cannot do the split like DDP, so that ain't happening. Kofi Kingston talked about like him winning the championship was something that was not planned. He actually said it was not in the script. And yes, Caitlyn can do the Big E split. I cannot, however. We had an interruption from the bar. Once again, just like they interrupted things on Raw, they came out here on SmackDown. Crowd started chanting, "Shut the F up," just like they did Baron Corbin on Monday Night Raw. The bar proceeded to challenge them to a 6-man tag team match. Big E was like, "Well, there's only 2 of you, so your math is off." To which the bar responded by saying they made a friend on Raw. And out came Drew McIntyre. Oh boy, New Day's supposed to be scared of the guy that lost to Roman Reigns with 1 spear. But suspend disbelief. Yeah, Drew McIntyre's, he's a maniac. He's the Scottish Nightmare, or whatever the hell they're calling him. So we had a 6-man tag team match set for the main event. And guess what? That wasn't the only 6-man tag team match. WWE had another one for us here. We had Aleister Black and Ricochet teaming up with Mustafa Ali versus Alexander Rusev, Shin, aka Shinsuke Nakamura, and Andrade Cien Almas. Actually, it's Ali, no Mustafa Ali, Rusev, no Alexander, Andrade, no Almas. So this was the match of the guys that lost their names. Let's just put it that way. Crowd chanted NXT. Alex Pershing with a $5 super chat says, "Are you tired of all these "you deserve it" chants too? Also, do you see Kofi defending against Ali? Seems like a must given the circumstances." Okay, well, yes, I am tired of the "you deserve it" chants. I think it's really being overdone. And that's the problem when you have 3 babyface champions winning at WrestleMania, and then you have to sit through 3 segments of people chanting "you deserve it." It gets really old. So yeah, it was a bit redundant, and I'm tired of the chant. So I agree with you on that. As far as Ali goes, that depends on where they end up after the Superstar shakeup. I mean, it definitely looks like WWE's not giving up on pushing Ali. It was Ali that scored the victory in this 6-man tag team match. Ali pinned Andrade with the reverse Hurricane Rana and then hit the 450 or the 054 or the 504 or whatever. Afterwards, Randy Orton came in and hit Ali with an RKO. And then Kevin Owens came in and hit a stunner to Rusev. Now the question is, does this mean Randy Orton's feuding with Ali? Does this mean Rusev's feuding with Kevin Owens? I don't know. All this is up in the air because we have the Superstar shakeup next week. I think this was just a way to get these guys on television and nothing else. Caleb Jacobs with a $2.61 Super Chat donation. And this is a CM Punk reference for those of you that don't get what he's saying here. He says, be ahead of the curve, not behind it. So true. In case you guys missed it, I posted an interview recap with CM Punk on NoDQ.com. Go check it out, by the way. Very busy news day over at NoDQ, just like yesterday. In that interview, CM Punk said Kofi Kingston should have been WWE champion a decade ago and said that WWE should be ahead of the curve, not behind it. So taking a little bit of a shot at WWE for not pushing Kofi as champion a decade ago when it was clear that he had the momentum with him and had the talent to be a top guy. That is, of course, if you want to consider Kofi Kingston a top guy at this point, because the Raw viewership did not reflect that. So for those of you that missed it, it's up on NoDQ.com, the Raw viewership. Raw did just under 3 million viewers. Good news, this was the highest rated Raw of the year so far. But, of course, it's WrestleMania season, so that's to be expected. The bad news is that last year's Raw after WrestleMania did almost 4 million viewers. So basically a 1 million viewers drop from last year to this year. So I guess everybody's just cutting cable and, you know, that's the reason for it. Or if there's a championship football game or basketball or whatever the hell was on, somebody's going to have an excuse out there to why that number was so far down. Oh My God Ruler with a $2 super chat says, better late than never. I'm happy for Kofi. Well, there you go. At least he finally got his opportunity, even if it was something that was pretty much just thrown together at the last minute. Kayfabe Candy Ass says, what momentum did Kofi have a decade ago? LOL, he's most over now than he's ever been. He was pretty hot at the end of 2009 when he was feuding with Randy Orton, when he did the boom drop at Madison Square Garden and he spray painted Randy Orton's car. Kofi was pretty hot around that point. But then, of course, the early part of the year when Randy Orton beat him, that was pretty much the end of the game for him. Hamp Kano with a $2 super chat says, last night was Virgin Texas Tech national title. I don't know what that is. I'm presuming that's a basketball game. So I have a question to you sports guys out there. Last year, the night after WrestleMania, was there any sports competition? I have no idea personally. But, and also, would it really make a difference in 1 million viewers the night after WrestleMania when it's the biggest WWE show of the year and there's all this buzz? Would there really be a difference of 1 million viewers over a basketball game? Just wondering. So apparently there was no game last year. Tyson with a $2 super chat says, next week all NXT call-up be on their set brands. I don't know if we're even going to see NXT call-ups. I mean, maybe we will see 1 or 2, but I feel like WWE's downplaying it. And quite frankly, I don't see a problem with that. Because we already had a bunch of call-ups and they're all going to be watered down. And by the way, the cat just made a cameo. Sassy in the house, in the office here. Sassy is the ratings for sure. Oh, so I want to do another quick plug. Head over to youtube.com/AaronRift, which is my personal channel. I actually am less than 500 subscribers from 100,000. So if you guys, even if you're not a fan of cats, you might be a fan of something else on the channel, or you just want to support me. I'm trying to hit 100,000 subs ASAP. So if you guys haven't subscribed to my personal channel, just go over there, subscribe. You don't have to watch any videos or anything. Just go over there and subscribe. I would really appreciate that. YouTube.com/AaronRiff. So just take out the NoDQ from the URL to this channel. Enough of that. Back to SmackDown Live. We had the Usos cut a promo. They congratulated Kofi Kingston. They said in their match it was more than titles on the line. They want to prove that they're the best brothers and the best tag team in WWE history. Next up, we had R-Truth and Carmella coming out for a promo. And by the way, JSPin401 says, give Aaron's cat what it wants. Exactly. Give it what it wants. Sassy, she wants a subscription to the channel. So give her what she wants. R-Truth and Carmella also praised Kofi Kingston. They also praised Becky Lynch. R-Truth brought up the largest dance break in WrestleMania history. Thank you, Sam, for subscribing to the personal channel. I appreciate that. They also brought up, or R-Truth brought up, how Carmella defeated Andre the Giant in the Royal Rumble match at WrestleMania. So, of course, good old R-Truth, not knowing what he's talking about. Carmella said in all seriousness, though, she could not have done it without R-Truth. Samoa Joe then came out and spoiled the fun. Thank you, Hamp Connell, for subscribing. Samoa Joe came out, put R-Truth in a coquina clutch. Joe brought up how he beat Rey Mysterio in a minute and sent out a warning to everyone else out there in WWE. And then all of a sudden we had Braun Strowman come out. So I guess just because this is a lame duck Raw and SmackDown, prior to the Superstar Shakeup, we just have random people from Raw showing up on SmackDown and random people from SmackDown showing up on Raw. I mean, I don't understand that, but whatever. I'm assuming that after the Superstar Shakeup, it'll be back to normal and we're not going to see this, hopefully. Braun Strowman came out. They got in a huge fight. Samoa Joe actually managed to fight back, but then Strowman got out of the coquina clutch attempt, and then Samoa Joe retreated with his championship, and that was that. So maybe we see them compete on Raw. Maybe Joe goes back to Raw. Maybe Strowman goes to SmackDown. We'll have to wait and see what happens with that. And Sassy has just left the building. Next up, we had the Iconics come out for a promo. They said that they are a tag team that isn't just about talking the talk, but they're going to walk the walk. They said that they will defend their championships, their newly won tag team championships against any team, anywhere, anytime. And then they proceeded to introduce their opponents, the Brooklyn Bells. And Corey Graves was quick to call them the best team in Brooklyn. Paige was watching backstage. Of course, Iconics with an easy victory over the Enhancement Tag Team. I'm fine with this. You know, the heels are going to have the easy matches, of course, to get more heat. So, good stuff here. Speaking of Paige, Paige did an interview after the match and said next week she's bringing in an impressive tag team of her own. So we'll see what that is. Maybe that will be one of the NXT call-ups or maybe a team from NXT UK. We'll have to see what happens with that. And looks like maybe Paige will be doing a manager role, which is cool. Oh, speaking of manager role, let me bring this up real quick. The dark match of SmackDown was EC3 versus Luke Harper. But what was interesting to note is that Drake Maverick was managing EC3 for the match. EC3 still lost, of course, but, you know, it was a dark match. So does this mean we're going to have that pairing again? Of course, for those of you that don't remember or did not watch Impact Wrestling a couple years ago, EC3 and Drake Maverick, then known as Rockstar Spud, were a duo, a tag team together. Well, I guess Rockstar Spud was more the manager for EC3. You know, they were all part of the faction with Madam Dixie Carter. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see if they are going to be reunited on television. Maybe that was just a test run to see how that worked out. Then we had Shane McMahon, back to SmackDown. We had Shane McMahon do a promo with his Best in the World trophy. He talked about what happened at WrestleMania, and he pointed out that Mr. Miz messed up his eye, aka George messed up his eye. Crowd chanted, "You deserve it," at Shane. Shane says that both Miz and George, aka Miz's dad, aka Mr. Miz, had what was coming to them. And then Shane once again referred to himself as the best in the world, which led to CM Punk chants here in Brooklyn. Shane basically just brushed it off and said, please. Then we had him call in the announcer, Greg Hamilton, and Shane was trying to get Hamilton to do the announcement properly, introduce him as the best in the world. Shane ended up dragging Hamilton out to the stage, grabbing him by the tie, and said, "You better get it right or there will be repercussions." Finally, Greg Hamilton did it right. He did the best in the world. Shane McMahon. Tyson with a $2 super chat says, "Greg Cherry has beaten them all in WTC except beat me." Tyson, how many times have people made that comment? They say they're going to beat Greg Cherry and then they get destroyed. So, again, like the Iconics, you can talk the talk, but can you walk the walk? That remains to be seen. And the crowd did start chanting CM Punk again after Shane McMahon once again was introduced as best in the world. So there you go. Then we had the SmackDown Live Tag Team Titles match, the Hardy Boys versus the Usos. Pretty good match here on SmackDown. Should have been a WrestleMania match, but whatever, especially with the finish here. So the Usos went for their double frog splashes, but Jeff Hardy moved out of the way. And then Matt Hardy hit the twist of fate. Jeff Hardy got up on the top, hit the Swanton bomb. And we have new SmackDown Live Tag Team Champions. We have the Hardy Boys, I believe 8-time Tag Team Champions. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. I think they said 8 times. I thought this was a cool moment. Maybe this means the Usos are going to Raw. Raw desperately needs a shot in the arm when it comes to the tag team division. So, I mean, this does make sense if the Usos are going to Raw. I'd still rather have the titles merged and just have one set of tag team champions, but that's just me. The Hardys were interviewed post-match, but before they could even say anything, we had Lars Sullivan show up. Why did this happen? You already established Lars Sullivan as a threat. Why do you have to do this at the expense of the new tag team champions? No, I get it. The Hardys just wrestled, so you can argue that they were already tired and worn out. But still, why even do it? Why not have Lars Sullivan come out and destroy some random guy? Have him destroy, I don't know, who's somebody low on the totem pole on SmackDown who barely gets TV time. Any one of those guys. Why do you have Lars Sullivan come out and destroy your new tag team champions? I don't know. I wouldn't have done that personally. Whatever. It is what it is. Then we had Becky Lynch come out. Oh, by the way, the crowd was chanting, "You still suck and you can't wrestle," with Lars Sullivan. So he's not exactly off to the best start here. We had Becky Lynch come out for her championship celebration promo. Although, again, didn't we just see this on Raw? I mean, she basically did the same exact promo. They showed a video recap, which I believe was the same recap they showed on Raw, or very similar. The crowd was singing her song again. She said they are the voices of angels. They started chanting Becky 2 belts again. So same exact promo pretty much as Raw. They did show a recap of what happened on Raw, though, with Lacey Evans. Becky said she'll be pulling double duty for the time being, so I guess that means no title merger for now. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see what happens on Raw if WWE decides to merge the titles or not. Maybe they're not going to. She said since she'll be defending both titles, she's got to sleep with one eye open, gripping her pillow tight. And then we had Lacey Evans come out again and sucker punch Becky, attack her from behind once again. Another random appearance from a Raw superstar, although I guess Becky's not on either brand, or I don't know who's... I guess Becky's both brands now because she's the champions. And I guess Lacey is both brands. She wasn't assigned to a particular brand. I don't know. And by the way, her sucker punch is called the, the Ladies' Right or something like that. I think that's the name of her move. I'm slowly catching on to the names of the moves. Thank you for that, Michael Wayne. The women right, or the women's right, whatever. And then we had the main event segment, the New Day versus The Bar and Drew McIntyre. Sami Zayn came out, yet another random appearance from a Raw guy. The crowd was singing his song, and then he just said, "Yeah, you're not worth it," and then he left. I'm glad Sami Zayn was flown into SmackDown, or not flown in since they were all there anyways. I'm glad he stuck around another night in Brooklyn, New York to just come out there and say that. Anyways, this was just, your standard main event. Kofi Kingston pinned Sheamus with the SOS. Kofi's kids came in again for another celebration. So, just more of what we already saw at WrestleMania. This was pretty much a filler show. I mean, there wasn't a whole lot on it that advanced storylines. They kind of set up the Superstar shakeup a little bit. Sam says I sound a little salty today. Well, I didn't think SmackDown was a great show, so that's maybe why I sound salty. I actually thought it was a pretty weak SmackDown considering it's coming right after WrestleMania. I did like the Hardys winning the titles, although I wasn't a big fan of Lars Sullivan coming out there. And everything else, for the most part, felt like filler to me. So I am going to, and this may be unpopular, but I am going to give this show a C+. So this, to me, this was below average for SmackDown. So a C+ is pretty low. SmackDown would have to be really bad for me to get beyond a C+, but yeah, it wasn't one of the better SmackDowns. I thought Raw was actually a better show minus the finish of Raw. So there you go. Let's go ahead and look at the letter grades. B from Caleb Jacobs, D- from Daniel, Chris Mace with a C, TK with a B-, Jeremiah Dorset B-, Michael Wayne with a B-, Ma Wrestling with a C-, Elijah with a C, Dragon with a B-, Kevin Luke with an F, Zach with an F, Caitlin with a B-, so she liked it better than I did, Mike B with a B-, Art Roca with a C, Israel Diaz with a C, Chat Site Forums with a C, easy for me to say. So there you go. Domestic Butler says my review was a D. Ouch. That is the savage comment of the night, ladies and gentlemen. So I wanted to mention the upcoming live streams. I will be doing a live stream this Friday, NoDQ live at 8 o'clock Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. So make sure you mark your calendar, tune in for that. I'll be taking questions on Twitter. I'll also be answering Skype calls, and I'll be taking super chat questions. So that is this coming Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. Caitlin, you're working that late? What? Also, I will be doing, for the first time next week, we have the Superstar Shakeup. So I'm doing something different next week. Next week, I will be doing a live reaction stream for the entire episode of Raw and the entire episode of SmackDown Live. I know a lot of people do these types of videos, and they are popular with some people. I have no idea how it's going to turn out. I don't know if I'll be able to keep you guys entertained for that long, but I will be on video for the entire 3 hours of Raw to give my live reactions to the Superstars shakeup. So come join it with me. You can watch with me. We can discuss all the moves from Raw to SmackDown, from SmackDown to Raw. That's going to be 5 hours of live streaming alone from Raw and SmackDown next week. So it's going to be a marathon for me, but I'm up for the challenge. I'm looking forward to it. You know, it is the Superstars shakeup, so why not step things up with the NoDQ live streaming? So check it out. This coming Friday, NoDQ&A Live, 8 Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific time. And then next week at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 Pacific, right when Raw goes on the air, I will be doing my live reaction stream. More Faves said you'll need at least one co-host. I was thinking the same thing. Like, I was thinking if I was going to do this, it would be better to have a second person. But right now, I don't have a second person here. So it's just going to be me. And hopefully it'll turn out okay. If not, then I'll never do it again, I promise. Hamp Connor with a $2 super chat says, did Rikishi do it for The Rock? He did do it for The Rock. He did it for the people. Did Sassy make another appearance? I don't know. But again, check out their channel. Casey and Sassy, funny cat videos. Who doesn't love a funny cat video? YouTube.com/Aaron Rift. Just Aaron Rift. But if you want to get to this channel, it's Aaron Rift No DQ. What about Caitlyn? Well, Caitlyn is in Michigan. I'm in Portland, so isn't gonna really work out that way for now. But who knows? If this turns out really well and Caitlyn wants to be on at some point, then we'll make it happen. But for the meantime, this Monday, this Tuesday, I don't know if I could even commit to doing a live 3-hour stream on Monday and a 2-hour stream on Tuesday. I don't know if I'll be able to commit to that, but I think that I will at least do it for this week. Maybe I'll take some Skype calls on Monday and Tuesday just to keep things interesting throughout the evening. So stay tuned for all that. Thank you guys so much for watching tonight. I hope you enjoyed the videos. No DQ review will be coming up, and then Friday I'll be back for No DQ